Welcome back to the deep dive. I want to start today by challenging a memory that I think a lot of us share.
Okay.
If you went to high school in the US, or really anywhere in the English-speaking world, there is a very, very high probability you were assigned John Steinbeck's The Pearl.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's one of those staples.
It is. And the memory, it usually goes something like this. It's a short book. It's a fable about a fisherman who finds a huge pearl, gets really unlucky, and then throws it back in the sea.
And the lesson is, don't be greedy.
Don't be greedy. Be happy with what you have. Simple, right?
Which is, if you don't mind me saying, probably the most surface level and, frankly, incorrect way to read this book.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like saying Moby Dick is just a manual on whaling. It completely misses the point.
Exactly. And that's why we are revisiting it today.
Yeah.
Because when you actually strip away that, that required reading fatigue and you look at what Steinbeck was actually doing, this isn't a fable. It's a horror story.
It is. It's a clinical, biological dissection of colonial economics, of racism, and the absolute brutality of the human animal when it's cornered.
Yes. So we are going to look at The Pearl, not as some simple fairy tale, but as a tragedy about the crushing, overwhelming weight of a rigged system.
And it's a book that it hits very differently when you're an adult,
Completely.
When you read this as a parent or, I don't know, as someone trying to navigate a ruthless housing market or a gig economy, the bad luck stops looking like magic and it starts looking a lot more like sociology.
That's a great way to put it. Now, to guide us through this, we aren't just relying on the text of the novella itself. We're also pulling heavily from the introduction by Linda Wagner Martin from the Penguin Books edition, which is fantastic.
It's excellent, yeah.
And we're also dipping into Steinbeck's own nonfiction, specifically the log from the Sea of Cortez.
Which is essential. I mean, you really cannot understand the Pearl without understanding the Sea of Cortez expedition. It's the key that unlocks the whole thing.
Okay, so our mission today is to figure out the real mechanic of this story. How does a story about a windfall, a lottery win, essentially turn into a story about domestic violence, murder, and the death of a child?
Right. Is it just that old saying, money is the root of all evil?
Or is Steinbeck saying something much more specific, something more targeted, about who is allowed to have money and what happens when the wrong person gets it?
Well, Steinbeck actually gives us the keys to the car right in the prologue. He sets the whole thing up as a parable.
Right. He basically tells us how to read it.
He does. He writes that because this is a retold tale, and I'm paraphrasing here, there are only good and bad things and black and white things, and no in between. He's warning the reader. He's saying, look, I am stripping away the nuance of character psychology so we can look at the archetypes.
It's almost a disclaimer, isn't it? He's basically saying, if you read this and you see your own life in it, that's on you.
Precisely. He says, and this is a direct quote, everyone takes his own meaning from it and reads his own life into it. It's a Rorschach test.
Yeah.
If you see the pearl as evil, that says something about your view of wealth. If you see the town as evil, that says something about your view of society. It's designed to reflect your own biases back at you.
So before we even get to the beach in La Paz, we really have to talk about where Steinbeck's head was at when he wrote this. I was actually surprised to learn how dark his life was at the time. This was, 1944, 1945?
That's right.
He was arguably the most famous writer in America after The Grapes of Wrath. He should have been on top of the world.
He was absolutely miserable. Success was toxic for Steinbeck.
How so?
Well, The Grapes of Wrath made him a household name, but it also put a massive target on his back. The FBI was monitoring him because his books sympathized with the poor and the working class, which, in the 40s got you labeled a radical or a communist.
Of course.
He was receiving hate mail. He felt suffocated by the expectations of the public. He hated being famous.
So he's feeling persecuted.
Deeply. And he was disillusioned. He looked at the American success story, the materialism, the capitalism, and he just felt it was hollow. He felt that this civilization he was supposed to be a champion of was actually predatory.
So where does he go to escape that?
Goes to Mexico. He goes to the biology lab.
And this is the connection to the Sea of Cortez log. He went on this expedition with his friend Ed Ricketts, who was a marine biologist. And this wasn't just like a fishing trip.
No, not at all. They were doing serious scientific work. They were studying tide pools. They were looking at how animals survive, how they compete, how they exist in these incredibly hostile environments.
And that biological lens.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is the filter for the pearl.
Absolutely. Steinbeck stops looking at humans as souls or citizens, and he starts looking at them as a species. He looks at the town not as a community, but as a colonial animal with a nervous system. He looks at the struggle for the pearl not as a business deal, but as a fight for resources in a tide pool. It's completely Darwinian.
It's fascinating because the actual plot of the Pearl is based on a real legend he heard in La Paz during that trip. But the
Yeah.
way he changed it, that tells us everything about his intentions.
Right. So in the Sea of Cortez journal, he just records this local legend he heard. A young, unmarried Indian boy finds a massive pearl.
And this boy, let's call him the original Kino for a second. His desires are pretty basic.
Oh, very basic. He wants to get drunk. He wants to find women. He wants to buy a few nice things. He wants to have a party. I mean, it's a hedonistic young man's fantasy. There's no higher purpose there.
And in the legend, the pearl buyers try to cheat him, he gets beaten up, and he basically realizes, whoa, this thing is more trouble than it's worth. So he throws the pearl back.
And he laughs. That's the ending of the original legend. He survives. He's free. And it's a funny story about a close call. It's essentially a comedy.
But Steinbeck doesn't write the comedy. He takes that framework and he just twists the knife.
All the way.
So in the novella, it's not a footloose boy, it's Kino. And Kino is a man with a heavy burden. He has a wife, Juana, and he has a baby, Coyotito.
And that one shift, from individual to family, it changes the entire genre from comedy to tragedy.
How so?
You can laugh off losing a fortune if it was just going to be spent on tequila and a good time.
Yeah.
You cannot laugh off losing a fortune if that fortune was meant to buy medicine for your dying child. By giving Kino a son, Steinbeck raises the stakes to literal life and death.
It also completely shifts the motivation. The boy in the legend was, you could argue, greedy. Is Kino greedy, or is he just desperate?
And that is the central question of the book. I would argue he starts out just wanting to survive. This system is what turns that survival instinct into something that looks like greed, but it's actually just a refusal to be crushed.
Let's look at the setting for a minute, because La Paz is not just a backdrop here. It feels like a character. It feels like a trap.
It is a trap. And Steinbeck paints this incredibly vivid picture of the Baja Peninsula. He talks about the uncertain air. The heat and the moisture over the Gulf create these optical illusions, mirages.
Right, where things look bigger than they are, or they just disappear entirely. He writes, there was no certainty in seeing.
It's such good foreshadowing. The whole book is about people seeing what they want to see in this pearl. The doctor sees a payday in Paris. The priest sees a church repair. Kino sees a rifle. Nobody sees the pearl for what it actually is, which is a calcium deposit. It's a rock.
And the social geography is just as brutal. You have the brush houses, the Nayarit, where the indigenous people live.
Yeah, these are huts made of straw and mud right on the dirt, totally permeable to nature, to the wind, to the animals.
And then you have the town of stone and plaster.
The fortress.
The colonial stronghold. High walls, cool gardens, fountains. It's a physical manifestation of the class divide. The Europeans are inside the walls, protecting their hoarded wealth.
And the indigenous people are outside, exposed to the elements. And, of course, for the scorpions.
Okay, let's talk about the songs. This is a narrative device that I think confuses some readers at first, but I found it really, really beautiful. Kino hears these songs in his head. The song of the family, the song of evil.
It's a way of describing a pre-literate ancestral consciousness. Kino's people don't write down their history. They sing it. So his internal monologue isn't made of words. It's made of rhythm. It's music.
So when he wakes up in the morning and he sees Juana making corn cakes and the sun is coming up, he feels this sense of completeness.
And Steinbeck calls that the song of the family. It's the melody of safety. He describes it as, this is the whole. It's this feeling of perfect balance.
It's the baseline. Everything is okay, but then the track changes. The needle scratches across the record and the song of evil cuts in.
Which is the inciting incident. The scorpion.
This scene is terrifying because it's so quiet. The scorpion is just moving down the rope that holds the hanging box where the baby is sleeping.
And you have to look at the reaction here because it sets up the gender dynamic for the whole book. Kino hears the song of evil. He freezes. He is relying on pure instinct and rage. He's ready to smash it.
But Juana
is different. Juana is whispering ancient magic, these old prayers, and she is moving. She's active. She's thinking.
The scorpion falls. It stings the baby on the shoulder. Kino just explodes. He smashes the scorpion into a paste with his bare hand. But that doesn't help the baby.
No, the damage is done. And Juana's the one who grabs Coyotito and immediately starts sucking the poison out of the wound.
She's the pragmatist?
Always. Throughout the whole book, she is the pragmatist. Kino is the emotional force. And then Juana does something that shocks the entire neighborhood. She says, the doctor, Go to get the doctor.
And everyone just freezes because a doctor does not come to the brush houses. It's completely unheard of.
It's a violation of the entire social order. The doctor treats the rich Spanish-descended people in the stone town. He doesn't treat Indians. But Juana is desperate. She demands it.
And because she won't back down, the whole neighborhood forms this procession. They all march together to the doctor's gate.
It's a huge moment of community solidarity, which makes what happens next even more brutal.
We have to spend a minute on this doctor, because if Steinbeck was trying to be subtle about anything, he threw that right out the window here. This guy is an absolute monster.
He's a caricature of colonial decay. I mean, he's fat, he's lazy, he's sitting in a darkened room in a silk dressing gown drinking chocolate. He's obsessed with Paris. He views Mexico as this barbaric raceland and himself as a civilized man in exile.
And when his servant, who is also indigenous, by the way, tells him Kino is there with his sick baby, the doctor's response is just, it makes my blood boil every time I read it.
I am a doctor, not a veterinary.
It's the thesis statement of colonialism right there.
Right.
He does not see Kino and Coyoteo as human beings. He sees them as animals, livestock. If they die, it's not a tragedy. It's just a loss of stock.
Exactly. And so when he finds out Kino has no money, just those 8 ugly little seed pearls, he refuses to even open the gate. He just tells the servant to send them away.
And this is the first real injury of the book. The scorpion sting was nature. It was bad luck. But the gate slamming in Kino's face, that is the system. That is society saying, you do not matter.
And Kino's reaction is so visceral. He punches the gate. He splits his knuckles wide open.
It's the collision of the powerless against the structure of power. He can't break the iron gate. He can only hurt himself against it.
Which is a perfect metaphor for everything that follows.
So now they are completely desperate. The baby is sick. The swelling is getting worse. The doctor won't help. They have to rely on the only resource they have left.
The sea.
They go to the estuary to dive for pearls. And this section, I think it's section 3, is where Steinbeck, the marine biologist, really takes over. The description of the underwater world is just mesmerizing.
Oh, it's an alien world. It's beautiful and it's dangerous. And Steinbeck describes Kino hearing the song of the pearl that might be. It's this mix of hope and tradition.
And he gives us this little bit of history that this same oyster bed had raised the King of Spain to power. It's a reminder that the great wealth of Europe was built on the backs of people exactly like Kino diving into these same waters.
A history of exploitation.
Kino dives. He finds a massive oyster. It's not even hidden. It's just lying there almost.
Yeah.
Confident. He brings it up to the canoe. He's almost scared to open it.
Of course. It's the lottery ticket. It could be nothing or it could be everything. Juana tells him to open it. And there it is, the pearl of the world.
Perfect as the moon, large as a seagull's egg. It's a miracle.
And right at that exact moment, and I think this is so easy to miss on a first reading, Juana looks down at the baby. The swelling is going down. The poison is receding.
The ultimate irony.
It's crushing. The baby is healing naturally. Juana's traditional remedy, the sucking of the poison and the seaweed poultice she made, it worked. They don't need the doctor anymore.
In a just world, this is where the story ends.
Exactly. In a just world, they would just keep the pearl as a nest egg and be happy. They have the health, and now they have the wealth. They've won.
But the town doesn't let them be happy. Steinbeck writes that the town is a colonial animal. The news travels through its nervous system instantly.
And the song of evil starts to rise again.
Yeah.
But this time, it's not a single scorpion. It's the entire town. It's the neighbors. It's the priest. It's the shopkeepers.
Everyone suddenly realizes they have a connection to Kino.
Oh, they're his best friend all of a sudden. The priest thinks about repairs for the church. The shopkeepers think about all the clothes Kino could buy. And the doctor. Suddenly the doctor remembers that Kino is his client.
It's absolutely sickening. He goes from, I am not a veterinary, to he is a client of mine, in the blink of an eye.
Because the pearl acts as what Steinbeck calls a black distillate. It distills the greed of the town into a pure black poison.
And Kino becomes every man's enemy. And he doesn't even know it yet. He's just sitting in his house holding this beautiful pearl, and he's dreaming, and this is a vital section, the dreams in the pearl. What does he actually want?
This is where we see it's not about greed. It's a hierarchy of needs. The first thing he sees is a wedding. He wants to marry Juana in the church, which legitimizes his family in the eyes of God, and, more importantly, the state.
Then he sees new clothes.
And specifically shoes. He wants shoes.
Why are shoes so important?
Shoes are a massive symbol. In this society, the indigenous people go barefoot. The colonizers wear shoes. A man with shoes can step on the thorns and not feel them. A man with shoes is seen as civilized. Kino wants to step out of his caste.
Then he sees the big one, a rifle.
Which is pure power. A rifle is a tool of force. It commands respect. It breaks down barriers. It's the great equalizer.
But then Erkman Russ is getting everything some ulterior.
Life.
The final dream, the one that actually scares the town the most.
Education.
He looks into the pearl and he says, my son will read, and my son will write and will know writing, and these things will make us free.
And that.
Yeah.
That is the most dangerous wish of all.
Why is that more threatening than a gun?
Because a gun can kill a man, but education can kill a system. The entire colonial structure works because the indigenous people are kept ignorant. They don't know the law, they don't know medicine, they don't know the real market prices for their pearls.
So if Coyotito learns to read...
If Coyotito learns to read, he can read the books. He can decode the lies. He can go back to his people and say, hey, we are being systematically cheated. That knowledge is revolutionary. It's a threat to the entire power structure.
So Kino isn't just asking for a fancy life. He's asking for sovereignty. He's asking to be an equal.
And in this world, that is absolutely unforgivable.
So the poison spreads. The doctor himself comes to the brush house. And this scene is just a masterclass in manipulation and cruelty. The baby is clearly getting better, but the doctor lies.
He gaslights them completely. He looks at the baby and says the poison has gone inward. He uses medical jargon to terrify Kino and Juana. He says things like, sometimes there will be a withered leg or a blind eye.
He knows Kino loves his son more than anything, and he uses that love as a weapon against him.
It's pure psychological torture. And then he gives the baby a white powder, a capsule.
And what happens?
The baby gets sick, horribly sick. He poisons the child. He induces cramps and vomiting just so he can come back an hour later, give the cure, which is probably just ammonia or a mild sedative, and look like a hero.
It's a protection racket. He breaks the baby so he can fix the baby and get paid for it.
And Kino knows it. He feels it. Steinbeck writes, Kino felt the rage and hatred melting toward fear. He suspects the trick, but he can't prove it because he doesn't have the knowledge. He is trapped by his ignorance.
Which just reinforces exactly why he needs that education for his son. It's a vicious circle.
It is. And that night, the physical violence starts. Someone tries to break into the hut to steal the pearl. Kino fights him off with his knife. And Juana calls it immediately.
She gets it right away.
She says, this thing is evil. This pearl is like a sin. It will destroy us. She wants to throw it back into the ocean right then and there.
And Kino says no. He says, I am a man.
That phrase becomes his shield and his curse. I am a man. He believes that his masculinity, his very identity, is now defined by his ability to fight this battle and win. He thinks he can conquer the bad luck. He tells her, I will win over it.
So morning comes, and we get to section 5, the selling of the pearl. This is where the economic horror story really kicks in.
It's a brilliant depiction of a rigged market. Steinbeck describes the pearl buyers sitting in their little offices, and he reveals the secret. They are not independent. There is no free market here.
Right. They all work for one patron.
It's a monopoly.
Yeah.
A cartel. They have a meeting beforehand to decide exactly how they're going to cheat the fishermen that day.
I love the description of the main buyer, the scout man. He's sitting there doing these magic tricks with a coin.
Rolling it over his knuckles, making it disappear. It's a perfect metaphor. He makes money disappear. He's a magician of theft.
And when Kino puts the pearl on the black velvet pad, the coin falls out of the buyer's hand.
He's shocked. For a split second, he's genuinely shocked. He knows it's a treasure, the find of a lifetime.
But his face doesn't show it. He has no tell. He looks at the most beautiful object in the world and says,
Fool's gold.
It's too large, he says. It's a curiosity. It's a museum piece. No one will actually buy it.
This is gaslighting on an economic level. It's pure manipulation.
Yeah.
He offers 1,000 pesos.
1,000. Kino believes it's worth 50,000. It's a slap in the face. It's an act of violence. To offer a starving man pennies for a fortune is to say, your survival is a joke to me.
And then the other buyers come in, the consultants, and they play their parts perfectly. One calls it a monstrosity. Another one uses a magnifying glass to pretend it's just paste. It's a coordinated attack on Kino's reality. They're trying to make him doubt his own eyes.
But he doesn't, and this is the turning point for him. He holds firm. He snatches the pearl back. He yells, I am cheated. My pearl is not for sale here. I will go to the capital.
This sends a shockwave through the room. They did not expect him to have the spine to walk away. But you have to think about what he's actually threatening. The capital is 1,000 miles away.
It's just an impossible journey.
He has to cross a desert and mountains. He has to leave his entire world behind.
His brother, Juan Tomas, is terrified for him. He tells Kino, You have defied not the pearl buyers, but the whole structure, the whole way of life.
Juan Tomas is the voice of history. He's the voice of caution. He knows that when the little people try to bypass the system, they get crushed. He's saying, you are breaking the rules of our caste, and the penalty for that is death.
But Kino is locked in. He says it again, I am a man.
And that night, the penalty arrives.
He is attacked in the dark, right outside his hut. He's slashed with a knife from his ear to his chin. He's bleeding. He's half-conscious.
And Juana begs him again, let us destroy it. It is evil. Let us throw it away.
And he says, no, I will win.
We move into section 6, and this is where the domestic tragedy just explodes. Juana decides she has to save the family, even if it means disobeying her husband. She takes the pearl while he sleeps. She runs to the beach to throw it in the water.
And Kino catches her. And the scene, it's just incredibly hard to read. He doesn't just stop her, he beats her.
It's brutal. It's unflinching. He strikes her in the face with a clenched fist. She falls down among the rocks, and he kicks her in the side. Steinbeck writes, he hissed at her like a snake.
He has become the animal, the very thing the doctor accused him of being. The pearl has stripped away his humanity. He is attacking the one person who is actually trying to save him.
And Juana's reaction is so fascinating and disturbing. She doesn't fight back. She accepts it.
Yeah.
Steinbeck writes that she understood his madness, his insanity, was what they needed to protect them. She behaves like a sheep before the butcher.
The family structure has been completely warped.
Destroyed. And Kino leaves her on the beach and walks back up the path. And he is attacked again.
And this time, the Song of the Pearl becomes the song of murder. He uses his knife. He kills a man in the dark.
It happens in a blur, a desperate scuffle. And Juana hears the fight. She finds the pearl, which got knocked out of his hand during the struggle. Then she sees the dead body. And in that one moment, she changes. She stops being the victim and she becomes the general.
She realizes the old life is gone.
It's over. You can't go back to the brush house and make breakfast when there's a dead body in the path. She drags the body into the brush. She washes the blood off Kino's face. She's the one who says, we must go. Now.
So Kino runs to get the canoe, his grandfather's canoe. This is his heritage, his livelihood. And he finds a huge hole knocked in the bottom.
And we need to pause here for a second, because Steinbeck makes a very, very specific point. He says that killing a man is not as evil as killing a boat.
Which sounds completely crazy to modern ears. I mean, a boat is an object. A man is a life.
But in a fishing culture like this, a boat is survival. A boat doesn't have sons to protect it. A boat is the means of feeding your family for generations. To smash a man's boat isn't just to inconvenience him. It is to sever his connection to the sea, to his ancestors, and to his future. It is a calculated act of evil beyond thinking. It is an attempt to erase him from the world.
So they are trapped, no boat, and then they look back toward their village and see their house is on fire.
The Dark Ones, the agents of the pearl buyers, have torched the house. They're trying to flesh out the pearl or maybe just burn them out of the community entirely.
So Kino and Juana have lost literally everything. Their home is ash, their boat is broken, their standing in the community is gone. They are fugitives from the law. All they have left is the pearl.
And Kino says it. The pearl has become my soul. If I give it up, I shall lose my soul.
That is the moment of no return. He has identified himself completely with this object. He can't let it go.
They hide in Juan Tomas's house for a day, gathering supplies, and then they flee north. And this is section 7. The landscape just completely shifts here.
It's no longer the beach. It's the desert. It's hostile.
Furred with cacti.
Yeah.
Dry, waterless. It's an enemy. And Steinbeck describes Kino entering this primal state. An ancient thing out of the past awakes in him. He starts walking in wheel ruts to hide his tracks. He is hunting and being hunted.
And the hunters, the trackers, these guys are the stuff of nightmares.
They are terrifying. Steinbeck describes them as sensitive as hounds. They can read a broken twig or a scuffed stone. And there are 3 of them, 1 on a horse with a rifle and 2 on foot, who just scuttle along like dogs with their noses to the ground.
And the rifle appears again. The very thing Kino wanted to buy to protect his family is now being used to hunt them down.
The irony is relentless and cruel throughout the entire book.
Kino sees them coming. He panics. He realizes they will eventually find him no matter what he does. He even tries to get Juana to leave him to take the baby and save herself.
And she refuses, just flatly.
Uh.
No, she says, we go with you. She is the rock. She is the only thing keeping him human at this point.
They flee into the mountains, what he calls the panic flight. They are desperate, looking for water. And they find a shallow cave near a small pool.
This is it, the climax. Section 8, it's a standoff. The trackers camp down below at the pool. Kino and his family are up in the cave, and he knows that if he waits for morning, the trackers will see them in the light and just shoot them. He has to go down there in the dark.
But the moon is rising. He's on a clock. He has to time it perfectly.
So he strips off his white clothes. This is so symbolic. He is shedding the last vestige of civilization, of the man who wanted to get married in the church. He goes naked, his brown skin blending in with the rock. Steinbeck describes him moving slow as a lizard.
He has become a predator. The song of the family is completely gone. Now it's the snarl of a female puma. He creeps down the rock face. He's ready to leap on the man with the rifle. But then, a sound.
A cry from the cave.
The baby. Coyotito lets out a little cry.
The trackers hear it. The one on watch wakes the other one up, and he asks what it is.
And the watcher says, "Coyote, maybe."
Coyotito. Little coyote. His own name seals his fate.
The watcher raises the rifle. He isn't aiming at a person. He's not even trying to kill anything specific. He's just shooting into the dark to silence a nuisance animal. He doesn't even care.
Kino sees the gun go up. He launches himself off the cliff.
The gun goes off.
And then Kino lands, and it is a massacre. Kino is a terrible machine. He stabs the watcher with his knife through the neck. He grabs the rifle and smashes the second man's head in. The third man tries to run up the cliff, and Kino shoots him between the eyes.
It is swift, brutal, efficient violence. Kino has killed 3 men in a matter of seconds. He stands there, panting. He has the rifle. He has the pearl. By all accounts, he has won.
And then the silence returns to the mountain, and in that silence, he hears something else.
Keening. A high, wailing cry from the cave.
The cry of death.
That random shot. The bullet that was just meant for the coyote.
It hit the baby.
It blew the top of his head off.
It is one of the most devastating, soul-crushing moments in all of literature. Steinbeck he doesn't flinch. He gives you the brutal reality. All that planning, all that defiance, the dream of education, the dream of the future, it's all gone in a millisecond because of a random, careless reflex shot.
The final section. The return. They walk back into La Paz.
But look at how they walk. This is so important. They aren't walking single file anymore, with the man leading and the woman following, which was the custom. They're walking side by side.
What does that signify to you?
They are equals now. But they are equals in grief. They are, as Steinbeck says, removed from human experience. They carry towers of darkness with them. The townspeople shrink back. They don't envy Kino anymore. They are terrified of him. He has crossed a line that they can't even comprehend.
Juana is carrying the dead baby in her shawl. The shawl is crusted with dried blood. They walk straight through the town, right to the water's edge.
And Kino looks at the pearl one last time. And this is the final transformation of the object. It is no longer beautiful. Steinbeck writes that it is gray and ulcerous.
And what does he see in it?
He sees evil faces peering from it. He sees the man he killed in the path. He sees their burning house. And finally, he sees his baby's head with the top blown off.
The dream has become a nightmare. The mirror is showing him only the horror.
He offers it to Juana. He holds it out to her. He gives her the choice to throw it away.
And she says, "No, you."
She knows he needs to do it. He brought this burden into their lives. He fought for it. He killed for it. He needs to be the one to release it.
So Kino throws it. With all his might, it splashes, it sinks, a crab scuttles over it, and the music of the pearl drifted to a whisper and disappeared.
And they're left standing there with nothing. No house, no boat, no sun, just each other.
It's just devastating. So let's try to synthesize this. We started by asking, was this just bad luck, or was it the inevitable result of a rigged system?
It is, I think, undeniably this system. Think about the chain of events. If the doctor had treated the baby like a human being in the first place, there would have been no desperate need for the pearl.
Right. The inciting incident wouldn't have been a crisis.
Exactly. And if the pearl buyers had offered a fair price, Kino would have sold it, taken the money, and left safely. The tragedy happens because at every single step, the legitimate avenues for advancement were blocked by racism and greed.
Kino tried to play by the rules. He went to the doctor, he went to the buyers. The system is what forced him into violence because it gave him no other option.
Yes. Steinbeck is just dismantling the myth of the American dream. That idea that anyone can make it if they just get a lucky break.
Yeah.
He's showing that wealth doesn't fix the problems of the poor if the entire structure of society is designed to keep them poor. In fact, injecting wealth into that volatile environment just accelerates the destruction.
And what about Kino as a character? He's not the same man who heard the song of the family at the start of the book.
Not at all. He's been hardened into something else. He lost his innocence and he lost his son. But he gained a terrible kind of wisdom. He is no longer the submissive native who takes off his hat for the white man. He has looked into the heart of the darkness and survived it.
And he walks side by side with his wife now.
It's a grim equality, born of absolute tragedy. But he is awake in a way he wasn't before. He understands the system now.
It's a heavy, heavy lesson. I want to leave our listeners with a provocative thought to chew on. The pearl is back at the bottom of the sea. It's just sitting there in the sand.
Waiting.
If someone else finds it tomorrow, another fisherman, maybe a young boy like in the original legend, does the same story happen all over again?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Was the evil inside the pearl? Or was the evil already there in the hearts of the men who saw it?
I think Steinbeck wants us to look in the mirror for the answer to that one.
A chilling thought to end on. That's it for this deep dive into the pearl. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.